Fan Wrestling Show podcast. You may have heard the first episode on the Royal Rumble. Well, this is the second episode. I'm still joined by these two marks. You know why? It's the same day. It's the same day. I'm the big beefy boy, Shane O'Keefe, and this is Johnny Mortz and Ciaran Dunphy.
Ciaran
Dunphy.
Dunphy.
It's going to be a running joke now all the time. Ciaran Dunphy.
It's
Ciaran. Anyway, we finished up on the
disrespect.
We finished up on the last one with a bit of a debate about Booker T, but we also touched upon 2004, who could have possibly won it. I think we all agree maybe that Redacted should have won it, but 2005.
The only reason he retrospectively probably shouldn't have won it is because he killed his family. But in and of itself, it made sense at the time.
Yeah. Going on 2005 then. Awesome finish. Batista and John Cena. Arguably the two biggest stars that could have won it, and they ultimately fate wouldn't allow him to decide who was going to win it. I think Batista was coming out on top anyway, and he ended up winning actually in the end, didn't he? Because they went to sudden death.
Isn't it just mad that like you could have a complete fuck up like that is so perfect in how it lands both
of Vince's quads.
But like both their feet, like when you watch the replay of that, you're like, they both landed at the exact same fucking time, and it's completely accidental.
It's important to remember though, like, because I just forgot about it when we were talking about double winners in the past. It wasn't a double win. It was Batista who went on and won sudden death.
You know, like theoretically, they should have done the Luger Brett thing again because that was a precedent that they set, but they didn't want to do that.
But like both were going on to challenge for the world titles anyway.
Yeah, would have made sense.
It would have made sense to just going
in that era. Hey guys, you've both won the Royal Rumble. You have this world title shot. You have this.
But it doesn't make sense because the whole point was Batista was going to go and win the title,
and Vince was body man, needs to be Batista. 100% Batista.
Also,
and
Batista,
he was so raging and fuming backstage.
Batista was that, like, he had the hottest storyline, like that, like what they'd intended to do with Orton, they accidentally did with Batista.
Yeah.
And Batista was fucking white hot at that time.
Because if it's kind of hindsight, you think, oh, it's Batista Cena, but like Cena was nowhere near the level that Cena would be in 12 months' time or 24 months' time.
Well, so Cena went through a very tumultuous time after he won that title, but Batista didn't. I thought Batista was the right choice because of the fucking storyline that was leading.
Yeah, it was such a good storyline.
You made a great point as well. Like you forget that Batista won it. Like they restarted it. It's not. It didn't end up the draw like Big Show Rock or Luke or Brett.
No, like, nobody else could have won it.
Batista won it.
Yeah, I mean, like it ended up like perfectly. You know, Batista won it. Vince McMahon ended up in a wheelchair. Ideal.
2006. Then, obviously, the big story you're coming in off. The passing of the great Eddie Guerrero. Rey Mysterio goes on. He comes out first, doesn't he?
Yeah.
First or
also,
second?
I think up to that point as well, I think that was the shortest Rumble. Like, Ray held... Did Ray break the Flair record at that point?
When he won it.
Oh, wait, hold on.
No, I think he was under an hour, even though he won it. He was still under an hour.
Him and Triple H went bell to bell though, didn't they? They were the first two.
I think that was it, yeah. And then he eliminated Orton. I'm thinking of like just because that was, I think that was the shortest Royal Rumble. But I can't
63 minutes, I thought.
63 minutes,
63,
yeah.
okay.
But did Bob Backlund do a longer stint than that in 93? Did Bob Backlund in 93 do a longer stint than Ric Flair did the previous year? Because Bob Backlund had the record for the longest time in a Rumble.
Who is the longest time now?
The longest time now is Gunther.
Oh, yes. That was awesome.
Yeah.
But, interesting proposition. But didn't they start changing times of the Rumble? Like, did they go to 2 minutes at one stage, go to 60 seconds at one stage?
I think 96, which was the first entrance music year, I think that was the first year they did 60-second intervals.
90 seconds is perfect.
Yeah,
90 seconds is perfect. 60 seconds is a clusterfuck, as was proved.
Ray, who beats Ray? Anyone better
Lashley?
than Ray?
Well, hold on. Who beats Ray? There's one person who, if you're telling that story, who they weren't going to book in the spot, but is the better person to book, Chavo Guerrero.
Yeah. It's never going to happen, but
right, yeah,
for the same reason, why would Ray win it? Why not Chavo?
Chavo's
just coming off Kerwin White. Isn't he? Is that 2006 or is that 2007?
He stopped playing Kerwin White. For anyone listening who doesn't know the context of Kerwin White, for some reason in 1995 they decided to make Chavo Guerrero part of a wrestling royal family.
2005.
In 2005, he was on the Raw brand, and they repackaged Chavo Guerrero as a very white, literally Kerwin White, golf player who came out to a Frank Sinatra-esque theme tune, who was kind of racist to Mexican people, of which Chavo is Mexican heritage. You know,
his catchphrase was, "If it ain't white, it ain't right."
And a horrible gimmick that took Chavo Guerrero, who at that point was, in that era was probably like, in 2004 was the Owen Hart.
Yeah,
I think so.
He was what Owen Hart was in 1994, and I think that's really the trajectory that we've talked about Chavo in terms of like Eddie's potential Royal Rumble win in 2004, but Chavo was a really good like mid card wrestler. He's a really good effective heel, and unfortunately, obviously the tragedy of losing his uncle is massive. But what was really unfortunate in terms of how that impacted on Chavo's career was that if Chavo was in any way, if he was having a better run, if he was upper mid card, he was maybe intercontinental US title level at that point, he might have been able to capitalize on Eddie's death and be in that Rey Mysterio spot. Unfortunately, he came off this horseshit Kerwin White golfer gimmick with fucking Dolph Ziggler as his caddy. His career was stone cold. And it's really unfortunate for Chavo that Ray, who is not related to the Guerreros,
but yes,
ends up in the. He has history with them, but also like a couple of months
later. Does Chavo not claim that Ray was not as close with Eddie as was made out?
Yeah, he has, and also as well, like what I didn't buy at the time as that was happening was, like at SummerSlam night, SummerSlam 2000, SummerSlam 2005, which would have been Eddie's like last Big Four pay-per-view. They had the Dominic on a ladder, or Dominic on a fucking pole match.
Episode coming soon.
Custody of Dominic ladder match. So like Eddie and Ray were pitched into this blood feud, this really intense personal family feud that brought in, Ray's family, brought in Eddie's family, and then all of a sudden a couple of months later, just because Eddie had died, Ray is all of a sudden. Just completely forgets about the fact that Eddie has tried to steal his family from him.
Hypothetically, if Eddie doesn't pass away, does he win the Rumble?
He's world champion.
Because he beats Batista.
He was supposed to beat Batista 2 weeks after he died, unfortunately.
So who would if Ray was world champion, or sorry, if Eddie was world champion, who is going to win the Rumble?
You are 100. I guarantee you, that WrestleMania, you're 100% looking at one of the dream matches we never got. I think the loose plan was that Eddie and Shawn Michaels were going to fight WrestleMania.
So Shawn wins the Rumble?
Yeah, potentially.
Because it's Triple H and Cena at that Rumble.
3-time winner.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one, like obviously, Eddie dies in October. Ray's winning the Royal Rumble in January. Ray's only winning that Royal Rumble because Eddie's died. So potentially it could have been a Michaels win, yeah.
What about Lashley?
In that era, maybe.
06.
I have Lashley as a potential winner of a late Royal Rumble. I don't know if I would have done it with him then. But
Simon Dean. Simon Dean comes out, I think, third in that one.
It's kind of hard to argue against Ray winning it, considering what happened.
Yeah,
and considering Chavo, great, okay, good winner.
If Chavo wasn't stone cold, I don't mean in the cool Steve Austin way. I mean in terms of his career being dead in the fucking water. He could have been a really good, viable. Alternate with that, but he wasn't.
ECW is back at that stage, is it? No,
we're
we had One Night Stand,
and we're going to have another One Night Stand,
which starts
and then we're going to get into a relationship, which results in the worst rebranding of ECW. Yeah.
What about Van Damme? If Eddie doesn't pass away,
like Van Damme as well. Yeah,
Van Damme and Guerrero.
Van Damme wins it that year, doesn't he?
He does win it that year.
He wins the world title that year.
8 months later, so he's already on the.
Yeah, you could have done that in 2006, and it would have been actually really good to have Rob Van Damme in such a strong position.
But obviously, then One Night Stand 2, you don't get that awesome moment with Van Damme winning the Hammerstein Ball.
But maybe there'll be better moments somehow.
Yeah, because he's the WWE champion coming into One Night Stand, and then you might have someone trying to wrestle the title away from him before ECW starts.
Yeah, 2006 is an interesting case study in that regard because it is a Rumble where you look at it and go they obviously the they had other plans maybe, and they kind of worked on the fly and they slotted Ray in there.
You know what I fucking would have loved?
It's also sorry, go on.
Mike Awesome.
Yeah, but
imagine Mike Awesome after his amazing performance at One Night Stand against Masato Tanaka, coming into WWE, fucking doing what Mike Awesome does and just beating the shit out of people.
Unfortunately, like at that point as well, like in between like those amazing matches with Tanaka, you've also got like the Fat Chick Thriller and that 70s guy, Mike Awesome. So
in WCW though,
he got fucking neutered. And
in 2005, coming off, like fans have forgot about all that. Forgot about that dog shit WCW stuff.
Awesome could have had a great run in any era if he was booked right. I mean, okay, he was like the first non-WWE contracted wrestler to win a WWE title.
Beating Rhino.
For the hardcore title, yeah, in the Invasion. But that was as far as he went. Like I
just loved him in One Night Stand. Imagine he gets a contract with WWE afterwards, comes in, wins a Rumble.
Never gonna happen.
This is where we're at with the 2006 Royal Rumble. We're going, maybe Mike Awesome should have won it. Maybe Simon Dean should have won it.
We're in a weird era as well for wrestling when WWE have this monopoly. And so many fans are leaving the product, like they're not watching anymore.
And wrestlers, Christian left.
Yeah,
he's gone to TNA, I think, at this point.
Oh, he's gone. Yeah.
All right. So 07 was what?
07 is okay. So 07 is the first time that the number 30 entrant wins it.
What an ending!
We're happy.
Possibly the best Royal Rumble finish ever.
Yeah.
One of the best. At the time, I felt it was one of the most perfect Royal Rumbles. The Undertaker absolutely should have won it because at some point the Undertaker needs to win a Royal Rumble. That was the time.
97.
They should have done maybe 97, but they should have done 30 earlier, maybe 97 as well.
Yeah, 97.
But they needed, like, Jesus, it was so long overdue. You're nearly 20 years in. Like, let the number 30 entrant win it. They then subsequently tried to course correct by doing it like 2 years in a row, which 2008 was also number 30 entrant won the Royal Rumble. But 2007, Undertaker should have won it. Undertaker did win it.
I like the
great finish.
Number 30 winning it is. It's also for long-term wrestling fans. It's kind of like a sigh of relief. You're like,
especially after Mysterio won it.
Someone has won it from 30.
Is it 27 has won it the most times? Number 27?
I think it is. Big John Studd's number, I believe.
Hogan 27?
I think so, yeah. One of them anyway, yeah.
So,
yeah,
you mentioned 2008.
Yeah.
What a fucking surprise that was.
Perfect.
I remember at the time hating John Cena. Like, I fucking hated John Cena growing up. But when that music hit, I was like, yeah! Oh, fuck you!
Yeah, it was the same, you know, and it was. I mean, it's an all-timer of a pop. It really wasn't expected. He was so fucking injured, and like he came back so quick.
Madison Square Garden,
yeah.
What a fucking venue for a Rumble.
There's one guy in the front that doesn't like that Cena's back. If you ever see,
just one guy,
yeah, just one in the whole arena. But there's one guy really obvious when Cena's coming out. He's like, no, because he knows what's coming. He's not a Cena fan.
But that was the thing as well. I remember watching that, and like as soon as Cena's revealed as number 30, you're like, there is no way he's not winning
with
this.
that smug fucking look on his face. But like, just going to the Madison Square
and also
Garden,
Triple H's cell is amazing. Like it
is. That's probably understated.
Yeah.
But just, I'd love if all Royal Rumbles had that little setup, because now that they've gone to the baseball stadiums, like the fucking entranceway is so long.
Yeah.
I loved the old configuration of Madison Square Garden that they used, you know.
So good.
Royal Rumble 2000.
Yeah.
Royal Rumble
short walkway.
WrestleMania 10, Royal Rumble today. Yeah, Royal Rumble 2000, Royal Rumble 2008.
Because the fans are like
Survivor Series 2002.
They did it in even for WrestleMania 20, but it looked cool because even though it wasn't,
they did it at the other side.
Yeah,
but
like
they
did a big entrance, but you could still see the entrance that they used to use, and I thought that was kind of a nice visual.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2008 John Cena, 2009 Randy Orton.
Yeah, like I mean. Yeah, that's Randy's year. Like, it was a horseshit year of probably
watching it as a Rumble.
It's in my head. It's always been the worst.
Is that the legacy one?
Yeah, actually, I like it for it's a similar.
Probably
thing.
The worst until 2022.
But it's another hindsight thing where we spoke with the big man. There's all these tropes in the Rumble. It's the big man. Okay. Big John Studd. It's the guy from 30. Number 30 is the best number.
He was so dead by then.
Yeah, no, but I know what you mean. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like the big guy should win it. That's what the commentators are hyping. Okay, we got a big man win it. It's the number 30 should win it. It's the best number to get. Finally, we got that with The Undertaker. Okay, it's a box tick.
And Cena.
and then it's like stables should team up and win it. Like they should team up and win it from the start. Just kick the shit out of everybody. Was it Demolition
that just went in and just started beating the shit out of each other when they were
nonsense?
Good, no, because they were 1 and 2 in one.
They were 1 and 2 in I think 1989.
Hardys did the same thing. Bad shit of each other. Had a little fight. So like go in, and what they did was like it was perfect. They looked like a team. They went in as a team. They all said, this is the plan, and they followed the plan, and it worked.
Yeah. They did a similar thing with CM Punk and the Nexus as well, I think in 2000.
Was it? It was the. I was trying to think, was it Straight Edge Society or Nexus?
No,
that was the longest Royal Rumble.
We'll get to that. That's
but now it's believable. Now it's like, okay, a stable can do this. We now know in history, in storyline, this can happen. It can work. Therefore, it now makes more sense in future Rumbles.
Exactly. And like, I mean, there's another version of that further down the line that I think would be worth talking about. But 2009, it worked. Like it was a really good idea. Randy Orton won. Randy, that was the ideal year for Randy to win. I think it was a shit Royal Rumble. It led into a fairly shit WrestleMania.
This is where I start getting like confused with Royal Rumble. When we go into the 2010 era.
So here's the thing, right? So like,
finish up. Are you about to go 2010?
I'm about to go 2010.
But
I was also just going to say as well that like, the late 80s, 90s, 2000s, most like there's very few disagreements we have on a lot of the winners. There's so many winners where you go, the right person won to serve the right story in the run into WrestleMania for the right match at WrestleMania. The 2010s are a litany of clusterfuck
bad decisions.
Is this Vince losing his mind?
It's Vince completely losing his mind.
Not just bad decisions, but like they're making these decisions because they just don't know what to do.
And also, I feel like some of it is like they're like Vince in his Ultimate Troll era, just zero fucks, really trying to piss people off.
Yeah,
WrestleMania 25 though, after
because he thinks
Orton win.
Yeah.
That was WrestleMania 25, wasn't it?
25 is, to my mind, one of the worst WrestleMania.
Dog shit main event. Yeah. They came in fucking hot with Orton and Triple H, and then just absolutely fucked it.
Yeah.
Was that WrestleMania 25?
Like every, with maybe the exception of WrestleMania 20.
Maybe I'm wrong.
With Michaels and Redacted.
It's 2509.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So that's definitely WrestleMania 25.
Yeah. I think that's it, yeah.
Because Shawn and Michaels...
You got Shawn and Undertaker going on.
Sean and Michaels.
Yeah.
Shawn and Michaels were squaring off.
But is that after 2009? Because I thought they did
2000. No, 2009 I think was their first one. 2010 is their last one. Michaels' last match.
Is that when he retired 2010?
Until he came back in Saudi Arabia.
Who wins the 2010 Rumble?
I think Edge won it, and I think Edge should have won it. I think that was Edge's year. He was the surprise comeback.
I'll admit that I was not really watching for 2010 to know enough.
You didn't miss very much.
There's a real fall off of my interests. Because I definitely was really watching when Orton won.
Like I was really wanting TNA to fucking start succeeding.
Yeah, I was really like in that era. I was really waning. What I will say about the 2010 Rumble, Edge came back. It was a surprise. He came back from injury. They had planted the seeds of a feud with him and Jericho. It eventually led to a world title match at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, because they had they
were tag team champions when Edge got injured. So everything made sense logically. I think it was great to see Edge win it. That was the year he should have won it. We'll probably get onto the other Edge win further down the line.
That was World Heavyweight title?
World Heavyweight title.
So world title match that year was
Cena
Orton? No?
Oh, in 26.
2010.
No, 2010.
No, but WrestleMania 26.
Sorry, yeah.
WrestleMania 26, we had another Shawn and...
We had Edge and Jericho and... Shawn and Undertaker was the main event, and the world title matches were Edge and Jericho, and I want to say triple threat between Cena, Big Show and Triple H.
Cena, Big Show, Triple H. That makes
sense.
WWE title. Wasn't there an Edge, Big Show, and John Cena?
That's
Triple?
Also the one.
Or is that WrestleMania 24?
Man, this is a clusterfuck.
Yeah, it starts getting all fucking.
Well, just here it does. It cleans up a little bit for me after a while, but this part here now.
Yeah,
it's because Cena, Orton,
Batista
and Triple
left
H
in 2010. Yeah. Oh, hold on.
Cena, Orton, and Triple H were just indefinitely feuding with each other.
Oh no, maybe they did. No, actually, you know what? It was Batista and Cena at that WrestleMania in 2010. This is interminable listening for people listening, and there's probably people who.
It was that. Was it?
I think it was actually
for good reason why we're confused.
Yeah. It just
the fans are with us.
It just starts blending into each other. There's nothing identifiable about anything.
Yeah, I feel like 2010
2010
was Cena Batista in one world title match and Jericho Edge in the other, and then the main event was Michaels Undertaker.
Then best thing we do is move on from 2010.
Let's get the fuck out of here as quick as possible. 2011. Okay, I'm rebooking this one. First 40-man Royal Rumble.
I remember watching it in Waterford, being like, this is dog shit.
Dog shit. Some good bits, like Booker T's return got after a couple of years away. It got completely squandered. That got squandered. They did a decent, like CM Punk Nexus had a decent run. All-time pop for Kevin Nash coming back as Diesel. Albert Del Rio winning. He's not an entirely cancelled man, but I think we can all agree that he was considering the accolades that he won in his career, like, you know, 2-time WWE champion,
Vince
2-time world champion,
Vince loved him.
Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank. Vince loved him. I think the hotter heel in that era in 2011, particularly leading into the main event of WrestleMania, was The Miz. I know Miz had the Money in the Bank briefcase at that time, but I think there's a way more interesting story to tell with Miz having both the Money in the Bank and the Royal Rumble win, and it being a hotter heel than there is with any story you're telling with Alberto Del Rio.
No, I'm going to throw a curveball. Santino Marella.
I think that
I was fucking all in it. Between that and the Elimination Chamber,
I believed he was going to win it.
It was fucking awesome.
I will say, like, I don't know logically where that goes in terms of a WrestleMania program, but I would have fucking loved it.
But that goes to WrestleMania 27. It's Miz versus John Cena for one title. Who's the other fucking champions at that stage?
I think that
WrestleMania was fucking shit.
I don't know. That was probably pound for pound the worst WrestleMania. There's a lot of bad ones in that era. So who is it in that 2011 is it's Miz, Cena, and then it's I don't know.
Who's the worst? Is Sheamus a champion at that stage?
No. Yeah, well, yeah, possibly.
No.
Sheamus
is double champ first.
Big Show has it. Mark Henry has it that year. That's the year Daniel Bryan wins it for the first time.
They had some banger matches.
I can't remember.
Daniel Bryan Sheamus? No, that's
the following year.
Yeah.
I was just back from Australia, so I was kind of trying to watch as much as I can. But I'm googling it now. Was it Punk and Jericho? No. Remember they had that?
No, that's the following year, I think.
Punk and Jericho. Right, we're having a look. Matches, results.
Is it some bullshit triple threat match?
Sheamus. It's always some bullshit triple threat match. Oh, it was Edge and Alberto Del Rio.
Oh, what?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Alberto it was. Sorry, of course. Yeah.
And like, how could we? Alberto won it. That's how fucking forgettable that son of a bitch
also,
is.
It was the first time that the world title was in an opening match at WrestleMania, and then Edge fucking retires the next day. So it was all a waste.
And then Christian gets it.
Yeah, it kind of.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry, that's it. Yeah, Alberto got the shot.
Okay, I agree. I agree. Miz would. And also, do you know what? Miz's Money in the Bank win, I also really enjoyed.
I would have given Miz both those things, and I think, we're about to get into a topic of conversation, which is like the start of the disrespect of the Royal Rumble win and what that means. Because in 2011, for the first time, what you have is that a dude wins Royal Rumble and then doesn't main event WrestleMania, and in fact, he's in the opening match.
Well,
because of a Royal Rumble win.
WrestleMania 26, there was no main event. It was Shawn and.
Not that it wasn't the main event or WrestleMania. I know, like, but
it's one of 7 main events.
But to put it in the to put it in the opening match, I think is just massively disrespectful. And they would then again do it the following year, and that's another year that I would have.
Did Edge come into that WrestleMania as champion then?
Yeah, and then he
kept the title.
Kept the title and then retired.
So Santino Marella and Edge.
Yeah,
a heel Edge I'd take.
Oh, yeah, against Santino, that would have been cool.
And you can have your little opening match with that. If you wanted to do it that way.
Yeah. Well, like, I don't know. I still feel, in as much as possible, if you win the Royal Rumble, you should be in the last match on the card.
Yeah, well, that was never going to happen.
For the most part. No.
Yeah. It will create another precedent. I'm all about precedents in this episode about, big man number 30. Then you get your comedy wrestler finally getting a win, which you're always kind of tempted. So like Foley had a chance to do it. If it
you say Mick Foley's a comedy wrestler?
He was kind of. Sorry.
Comedy wrestlers who are good at comedy. I think there's a difference.
Comedy wrestlers, what's Santino?
Well, Santino is just I think Santino was a good wrestler, but he was just never booked as any kind of a threat. It's not like Foley where you're like, this guy will set himself on fire and fucking.
To be fair, right? If Santino Marella did win that Royal Rumble, like 2 years before that, he was Santino Marella and he won a Battle Royal. Like, to go from that into a
But
Mania
he was so,
Santino Marella?
I think so.
But he was also so hot going into that
She
Rumble.
was such a babe.
Going into
No,
the
not
battle.
no, he's
Santina?
not. No, that he's
He was-
not Santina. That's not true.
okay.
Yeah.
okay.
No, the Santino. We're talking about Santino, not Santina, a different person. Santino was super hot going into that Rumble against Del Rio, like insanely hot. The people did
Want him
me
to win.
included,
Yeah.
want him to win, and potentially
Same with the
when he-
Elimination Chamber against Daniel Bryan.
exactly.
Down to the last, and that was that's
Yeah.
low key probably my favorite elimination chamber. I
Yeah,
just thought
it was
was
fucking
it's-
awesome.
So Del Rio wins. We want someone else. We can't really think of who. But
I want Santino.
I,
I'm fucking
No,
saying
I
it.
would have
doesn't
loved.
make
I would
sense,
have popped for Santino, but honestly, like looking at what was literally the main event of WrestleMania that year, I love the idea of the Miz having both these. Like, if Miz has both these things. He's got the
Or
Royal
is
Rumble
it-
shot, and he's got the Money in the Bank.
Is,
And
it
then-
is it a year when Triple H wins it? And then
No, it's never a
No.
year when Triple H wins it.
But it went. We said 2002 was in our.
And that was his year.
But
Anything subsequent is not his year.
Triple H does it, and then he cashes in the shot for the streak. Because that's when he goes after the whole shot. I know that story was strong, but after Shawn Michaels has been retired,
okay, yeah,
Triple
that
H
could work,
wins
yeah.
it and goes, you know
That
what?
could work.
Well, like we will again.
The streak is
I
important.
think there is a year where I think the strongest Royal Rumble story coming out of it, I think, is in to jump onto 2013 briefly. I do feel like that was the year where potentially
Do we have problems with 12? Oh, we do. Yeah,
I have problems with 12. Oh God, okay. But the idea that the Royal Rumble winner would look at Royal Rumble, would look at WrestleMania and the prestige of WrestleMania and go, particularly after Del Rio and Edge been in the opening match, the idea that the Royal Rumble winner might turn around and be like, you know what, if they're going to book the world title in the opening match, I'm going to go for the most prestigious match on the card, and I'm going to cash my Royal Rumble shot against the Undertaker's streak.
Yeah.
And that is a story well worth telling.
'Cause they
And I think
never-
Yeah, but they booked the world heavyweight. Like you're an idiot if you decide to cash in on the world heavyweight title because you know that's
But
a weaker title,
they
and therefore they could book you in the opening
They
match.
never had like. I think there is a storyline to be told in somewhat like a tournament or something to fight the Undertaker at WrestleMania. So like it's like sometimes Triple H coming out and they're going face to face, and that was fucking cool at the time. By the way, like, but like they're either pointing at the sign or it's me and you,
they
Taker.
point at an urn.
Just fucking Paul Bear.
I think rebooking the Undertaker's WrestleMania streak is an entire episode in and of itself. So I think we should lightly skim over that. But it's a great storyline, and I think there is a year to do that. 2011, I'm going with The Miz. You're going with.
I don't have a better version than Del Rio.
You're going with Santino.
I just
I don't know
brazen.
who to say. Like shit year, shit Rumble, very forgettable. Barely watching.
They didn't do 40 men again. They did do 50 men, but yeah,
That was the greatest Royal Rumble.
All right,
sure was
12.
Okay, so we're going to move on to 2012. I would rebook this, and the reason I would rebook it is back to this idea of disrespecting the world title match. Sheamus won it. Sheamus was it was great to see him. Go on the Irish. Great to see. There was a really good finish with him and Jericho, but then he ends up getting booked in WrestleMania in an opening match that goes 7 seconds.
But
So for me, I'm rebooking the 2012 Royal Rumble. The final two were Chris Jericho and Sheamus. Jericho ended up in the more prestigious world title match and feud.
That's with Punk.
With Punk. I would rebook 2012 for Chris Jericho to win it instead of Sheamus. That's my piece.
I have a controversial one for 2012. I think there's a man, we spoke earlier about Ultimate Warrior, kind of this ultra dominant, impossible to
a warrior,
create
some
any
say.
damage on. Yeah, warrior, some might say. Controversial, but I think Ryback 2012.
Oh.
And the reason being is Ryback was super duper hot coming into this.
Was he?
Surely.
Unfortunately, yes.
No, I don't. He was only debuting though, then, wasn't he?
He had this.
Because he had the thing with Punk in 2012. Didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
So he wasn't. I don't think he was debuted.
Oh, sorry,
at
I'm
this
thinking about
stage.
2013. Sorry, I've moved on to 2013 here in my head.
2012, we can all agree with that. Chris Jericho should have won it. No, yeah, Ryback would have been more prominent
No,
in
it's
2013.
13 is where I want Ryback.
So that's WrestleMania 28.
Spoiler.
Is it?
Spoiler for
1 year.
The next
Oh
few minutes.
no. So right, WrestleMania 28 happens. Jericho goes on to face Punk, but that's not for the title.
It is for the world title.
It's not.
For the WWE title.
Is it not Rock and Cena for the title? Yeah.
No, sorry. Rock and Cena are... Oh, yeah.
It's Rock and Cena in 28. So Rock beats Punk at the Royal Rumble.
Sorry, Rock and Punk is 2013?
Yeah, it's because... No, 2012.
No, it's 2013, Rock and Punk. 2012.
Oh, no.
Miz and... Have we skipped one?
It's Rock and Cena.
Rock and Cena 2012, Rock and Cena 2013.
Yeah, so WrestleMania 28 is Rock and Cena, but that's not for the title.
First one's not for title, second one's for title, because in 2013, January 2013, Rock beats Punk for the world title.
But that main events, doesn't it? Once in a lifetime.
It main events both those years.
Yeah. Okay. But that's not for the title.
Yeah, so Punk and Jericho are the world title match, but they're not in the main event spot.
Yeah.
But it's still better than where Sheamus and Daniel Bryan are in the opening match for 8 seconds.
Is that not how great what Daniel Bryan became?
Totally, 100%.
Like that. So they were on the undercard of 27. They had the US title match, so they didn't make it to the main card. They go again next year. WrestleMania ends in fucking no time, and Daniel Bryan's momentum just starts fucking boom.
Yeah, but whether you like it,
boom.
whether it's a short 8-second match at the opening card or it's a 25-minute banger in the semi-main event, still Sheamus winning it would make sense in terms of what it led to.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't really matter.
It's not one that I feel completely passionately about, but I just think in the context of where the world title matches ended up, I would have booked Jericho ahead of Sheamus there.
Okay.
Any outliers? Anybody? I know you said Ryback.
No, I've got a big surprise for 2013. You're not going to believe
Ryback.
You're not going to believe this one.
Heidenreich. It's fucking Heidenreich.
Feed me more theories.
I fucking love Ryback.
Yeah, but hear me out.
2013. Let's go on to that. Right,
yeah.
John Cena won it. He didn't need to win it. He's a completely obsolete winner.
Yeah.
He had his perfect Royal Rumble win in 2008.
Yeah.
John Cena does not need to win the world title. I know they did it, but like him and The Rock, they can do that a million ways. John Cena didn't need to win that Royal Rumble. 2013. Who wins it? Who do you think?
Yeah. Well, hear me out. Okay. So there's a guy, the Ultimate Warrior. I spoke about that earlier, like 2 seconds ago, and I spoiled this. Ryback was insanely hot. He had the fans cheering him. He was like real old school, like fan favorite. And they totally pulled the rug from under him for no real reason. I know he became
He lost to Mark Henry.
I know he became an idiot.
WrestleMania.
No, but I know he became an idiot over time. Possibly, a little bit fucking salty about what happened to him with this run. But he was perfect to win the Rumble. Like if you think about Mania, what happened at Mania that year?
He lost to Mark Henry.
No, not for him, but what was the title match?
Once a once in a lifetime happened twice.
Rock defending the title against Cena.
And World Heavyweight title?
World Heavyweight title that year in 20...
Del Rio and Swagger.
So
why could you not put Ryback in there instead and why not? And just make a man.
My alternate pick for 2013...
Was
that the We the People stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Swagger had just been repackaged. He had Zeb Coulter as his manager. He had this kind of vaguely kind of...
That's fucking 10 years ago.
Nationalistic kind of gimmick. I'm a bit split on who I'd have winning the 2013. It wouldn't be Cena because I don't think he needs it. I would have went with CM Punk because there's one, as I said, that storyline about the idea of the Royal Rumble winner deciding to pick...
But he was
Undertaker's streak match, but he was in the world title match there, and he was in a really good world title match. And there's no reason why I think CM Punk would win the Royal Rumble and not want to immediately reinsert himself back into the Punk or into the Rock Cena feud.
No, well, he could be like a fucking dick about it and be like, "You have your little Hollywood match. You do what you want to go over and do.
I'm going to break the Undertaker's streak.
I'm going to break the streak."
Yeah, and I think
that's my story.
I think that is a storyline that nobody ever told, particularly in this era, in this decade of really kind of perplexing, nonsensical Royal Rumble winners. Just to have someone look at the bullshit that was being created by, as I said, people winning Royal Rumbles and ended up in opening matches. The idea that someone would look at WrestleMania and go, actually, the most prestigious match is taking on the Undertaker for his streak, and for Punk. 2013 seems like a good year for Punk to maybe do that, and I think
was 2012 streak match.
The 2012 streak match was
2012 streak match was Triple H in the Hell in a Cell.
Triple H again, okay. Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, so the streak
for the third time at WrestleMania.
Well, at this stage, the streak was peak in terms of beating the streak was super peaking.
Peaking the streak.
Yeah, The story that was been really told for the years leading up to this was like you had these wrestlers like Shawn Michaels, like Triple H, been like completely obsessed with it, and there was so much value in it. So Punk
beating the
for me, Punk winning the Rumble and picking the streak as his WrestleMania match would be a really good storyline. Other than that, I'm probably going to go with Jack Swagger because he ended up in the world title match anyway. He was
why not Ryback?
Vaguely hot. I would long term see more value in Jake Hager / Jack Swagger than I would have in Ryback.
No, I thought Ryback was awesome. In
that era, maybe, but also Del Rio was a face, so
that's the only problem I have with it. Is Del
Rio never should have been a face. He's just
there was nothing likable about bar fucking
Ricardo Rodriguez.
Bar Ricardo Rodriguez. Ricardo Rodriguez should have won the Royal Rumble.
There we go. What's your 2013 bit of rebooking, Shane?
2013, I really like the idea of Ryback doing it, and I really like.
Yes, thank you so much.
Here, you're welcome. You're very welcome. Anybody but Cena.
What about Ryback?
Anybody but Cena.
What about Ryback 2012 as well?
He didn't exist.
You mean Skip Sheffield?
Yeah, Skip. Yeah.
I'm always interested in like making stars. So like, the Shield fucking debuted just before that.
They had
something fucking very hot. They were the biggest thing there. Imagine you debuted a fourth man with the Shield. So the Shield could still have their fucking class run, but say you give it to the likes of, say, Cassius Ohno when he came in.
Well, I'm not saying Cassius Ohno was originally supposed to be in the Shield. Yeah, that's in Roman Reigns' spot,
and that's why I'm just immediately thinking of that. So the Shield came in a Survivor Series 2012, had that fucking Excellence TLC match with
their debut match with Daniel Bryan, Kane, and Ryback. Yeah, all timer. Yeah,
you do an NWO thing going. We got a fourth member. And whoever that fourth member is fucking made.
For that to work to any extent,
I think it needs
but imagine
it would need to be an established star. Like it would
100%. It has to be Punk then to win the Rumble, and
because he's in that title.
No, but he's
also affiliated with the Shield.
No, exactly.
In that era.
But it was always very vague. It was like, what is the connection? Like, he's kind of hired by them, but he's not really hired by them.
They did a 3-1. And he
beat them. Yeah, it's nonsense.
Which is stupid. But what I'm saying is, was there anybody possibly down in NXT that had enough credit? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe so.
SS? Skip Sheffield.
Cassius Ohno would have been cool though. Because like he has history with Punk as well, going back to the IWA.
Also, just as an aside to him, isn't it just shocking that they never gave that man one main roster run at any point? Yeah.
I thought it was cool he was on NXT UK.
2014.
2014,
so I'm saying Cassius Ohno.
Ryback.
Guess what? 2014, one of the most unpopular Royal Rumble decisions in history. Dave Bautista wins it. I love Batista, big fan.
Love him now.
He won it in 2005. Perfect win, perfect storyline. Dave comes back to WWE because he's kind of, he's a Hollywood star at that point. Guardians of the Galaxy is out. Vince McMahon goes, Dave, you're a big star. The fans love you. And Dave goes, no, Vince. Here's what happens. I'm coming back from Hollywood. I want to be a fucking heel. I want to play that entitled character that I left with in 2010. I want to keep the continuity.
Is that what you wanted to do?
Yeah, the fans are going to fucking boo me. You got to lean into this straight away. Vince goes, no, pal, they love you. It'll be great. He's got the plan. It's going to be Dave Bautista, Randy Orton.
He came out looking like a fucking heel. Yeah. Like, he had like a...
His whole vibe is just heel. So Dave Bautista's booked to win it. He wins it. Daniel Bryan, who was the most organically hot babyface in WWE at that time, in the entire industry, doesn't even make it into the match. He's caught in a weird feud with Bray Wyatt. Be two great wrestlers, but just weird programming. So my pick for that year is, and because he ends up main eventing WrestleMania anyway, winning both world titles.
But the trials of tribulation...
Daniel Bryan for me is 20.
But the trials and tribulations of Daniel Bryan is what made WrestleMania 30 so special. Because he was just after getting fucking screwed over at the SummerSlam beforehand. He had that match with John Cena, and then Randy Orton came out and took the title off.
You got to keep in mind that
it's hard to imagine anyone else but Daniel Bryan. Like, considering I remember distinctly at the time being so pissed off when they didn't put him in it.
Man, I went off to Ken Black's and bought a Daniel Bryan Frigger. Right? Frigger. Stayed up all night to watch the fucking... Fuck you. Stayed up all night.
Frigger it out, man.
With work the next day just for Daniel Bryan to come out. Never happened. So my immediate thing was anyone but Batista. Yeah. And Roman Reigns was there at the end, and I was like, here's a fucking star.
The only person that even like I can't think of anyone but Daniel Bryan to win it. But the only other person that, because of what happened in hindsight, that I would be kind of slightly thinking I would like to win it was Punk, because he left like the following month, like forever.
It would have been
so like it would have kept him alive, and he would have main evented, and I'd
was
be
it Corporate
happy.
Kane that got him out with our?
It's not some nonsense thing.
CM Stud, you know what I mean? It's just a big John Stud victory. It's like, give this guy the Royal Rumble victory, and he's gonna walk the fuck out in a couple of weeks anyway.
Yeah, I know. It's just he wouldn't have walked out if he won. He would have all the whole staff infection. He would have been like grand with it, just to get to main event Mania.
Based on the participants, because I didn't like that era of Punk. He looked sick. He had the shitty sideburns.
Hey, he was going for a Wolverine vibe, man. Come on,
sucked ass. Roman Reigns, I would have because fans were genuinely behind him.
They were mostly behind him because they really didn't want Dave Bautista to win it.
Yeah, but that's what was cool. I was like, oh, they're going to make a star.
No, I gotta be Bryan. I think we're pointless.
It's only Bryan.
Yeah, nonsense. Yeah.
Daniel Bryan. 2015 then, Roman Reigns.
I think I was like, yeah, that was his year. And he had a decent program with Brock Lesnar. I, in my opinion, an all-timer of a WrestleMania main event.
And the fucking
I know he got booed out of it. The fans fucking hated him.
Cash in, though.
The cash in was impeccable. I loved it.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, I think, with better booking, it would have been like, the kind of the babyface Roman Reigns that fans were cheering in 2014, because he'd been kind of booked as John Cena. Then subsequently going into 2015, the fans kind of turned against him.
We're also in an era where the fans are quite hostile. Like, there was this time where they're really taking over shows.
At that stage, you've had a really good 6 years of absolute horseshit storylines,
and fans
the
knowing
wrong
that
people
if
been pushed, your intelligence been insulted,
and if you boo enough, you might change the main event to WrestleMania. So I think Reigns probably suffered a little bit from what happened to Daniel Bryan previously.
Who else would you, because you're leading into Reigns, Lesnar? Who else would you book in 2015? I don't see. Also keep in mind as well, 2015 now is the first WrestleMania in a long time where the world titles have been unified, so we don't have split world titles. You don't get to stake. You don't get to go, I'll take that title or that title. There's only one fucking
NXT
title.
is pretty hot though as well.
NXT
could have gone for the NXT title.
No,
yeah,
not gonna happen. No,
it would.
Well, Charlotte did.
The Charlotte did, yeah, when she won the Rumble.
Yeah, no. For this though, I don't see that happening at this particular era right now. I think Reigns was the guy.
Yeah, it wasn't a great Rumble. It had a horrible finish.
They made up for it with the Rollins thing anyway, so whatever.
Yeah, I think and that was also just a really excellent match. Reigns and Lesnar, to their credit, even though the feud was beaten to death, but they always had excellent chemistry with each other.
Bray Wyatt?
Not that year.
No,
that's the next one now for.
All right, what's the next year?
Who Bray goes against?
We're okay.
Taker.
We're agreeing with Reigns then. Let's move on.
I think Reigns, 2015, 2016.
That's Triple H.
It's Triple H. Again, it's a waste of a fucking.
Is that for the title?
Yeah, it's the first one for the title since '92.
I have my alternative for this one.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh yes,
and
you have mentioned this.
Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose was super duper hot at the time, over the top hot, and you set up the triple threat Shield match at WrestleMania.
Ideally, yeah, I think that's a really good shout.
And
Reigns is he, at this stage, is he yet to win the title?
Oh no, he's won it.
Has he won it after WrestleMania?
But no, this is the first 2016 is the first Royal Rumble where the champ is defending the title in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, Triple H.
Reigns is in number one.
Is he the champ?
He's the world champ.
Yeah, sorry.
Triple H
and he has to survive the Rumble, and in order to keep his title, and then Triple H comes in number 30.
Part-timer Triple H wins it
to set up Triple H and Roman Reigns, the least attractive WrestleMania main event of all time, and I include Bam Bam and Lawrence Taylor, who at least had their working boots on. That main event of WrestleMania, nobody wanted it. Nobody needed it.
You got the Shield main event.
That was your year to do the Shield triple threat.
And it should have been. Yeah, Shield then become without a doubt the greatest stable
Triple H
ever.
have their own little fucking match somewhere in the cards. Shield main event. Absolutely, that was the year.
That's
Is that the year AJ debuts?
Yeah.
What a fucking moment that would have been for someone to come in.
That'd be cool, yeah. AJ to win it would be fucking class as well.
It wouldn't have happened, but yeah, the idea of
because he went on against Y2J.
He had a feud with Jericho.
They had the Y2AJ fucking thing
for a little bit. Yeah. While Vince was trying to figure out how to book him.
Oh, he would have come in as world champion. He would have won the world title. That would have been starting off fucking hot.
But and obviously AJ was going out wondering would anyone even cheer, and Vince didn't even believe anyone knew who he was, and then he got that pop, the greatest pop ever.
Yeah, it was great.
So
that wasn't the right. No, it was 2015 was the Royal Rumble where it was just Kane and Big Show just fucking throwing
cleaning house,
out.
and then The Rock came down, and The Rock was so confused as to why the fans were booing the fuck out Roman Reigns.
So 2016, then it was Ambrose and Triple H as the last two.
Yeah, and then they would have a fight a roadblock, a world title match, a world title match, a roadblock. Then after that, and then
he went to Lesnar.
Yeah,
Ambrose and Lesnar.
Where Lesnar famously wouldn't do business with him in any way that
I was so looking forward to it. You brought in Terry Funk, you brought in Mick Foley. They were fucking chatting to him, and then they fucked it.
I think Lesnar kind of fucked it, but
led to the Stone Cold podcast where Austin then didn't take the.
That was they just there was a weird attitude to Moxley at that time that they just thought he was this kind of belligerent fucking young lad who didn't want to listen to them, but like I think he just wanted to do cool shit and do intense fucking matches, and he wanted to have a proper Brock Lesnar match. And he just ended up getting fucking kind of squashed.
Well, if he had done one of his AEW matches against Lesnar,
imagine this version of Mox against that version of Lesnar. Yeah, we're on to 2017, won by Randy Orton. He didn't need a win. He won it in 2009. That was grand. That was Randy's year. A lot of weird booking around here. We're not going to have a world title in the main event of WrestleMania. So
they had the thing about the Wyatt family, though.
There was a really good storyline, and there was a push at the time because
it was the most interesting. I thought Randy Orton was. In a long time.
The most he was in a long time. It was a really fantastic storyline that got absolutely fucking butchered. It got like. It actually got completely underbooked.
It was shite. It made Bray look like an idiot.
There was hokey bullshit. Yeah. But, and like this is the thing with Bray.
He's getting duped that these guys can just enter the Wyatt family.
It happened with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, like it's nonsense.
And he lost every big match.
But there was a really interesting storyline that they were starting to tell in January and February of that year with Orton wheedling his way into the Wyatt family and Luke Harper been really shady about him, and then this kind of tug of war, and this idea that Wyatt might have been duped. It was really heating up to be something special. There was kind of talk. There was a bit of a push that Luke Harper should have been, Brody Lee should have been inserted into that match, which I think would have made a lot of sense. It would have been great to see that dude get a world title match be in WrestleMania. Eventually he got fucked because Vince went back, instead of any kind of psychological warfare, which is when you got Bray Wyatt and you got Randy Orton, that feud should have been two absolutely fucked up warped individuals waging psychological warfare on each other. What we got instead, it was just like spooky, creepy house fucking, the fucking ghost train down in fucking Tremor bullshit. But I do think that the 2017 Bray Wyatt should have won that Royal Rumble. I know he won the Elimination Chamber and the world title, but I think, put the strap on Randy, feed it into WrestleMania, let Wyatt, the idea of Wyatt coming for the champion and the champion also being a member of the Wyatt family is a good story.
So I also have a different winner for this Rumble, but you wouldn't think this because you already had Jericho winning a Rumble 5-6 years ago prior, but the Owens-Jericho feud was on right now, and obviously Owens would lose the title to Goldberg to get put title on him, which was bullshit. Didn't need to happen, in my opinion. So Jericho wins the Rumble, leads to this big conflict between him and Owens about the title.
So the reverse of what?
And that's the Mania match.
That's a great alternate idea. Yeah. And should have been a main event. And as the story goes, Jericho and Owens were promised a world title match main event by Vince, and then it just got changed and there weren't no fight.
What about so you take Goldberg and Lesnar out of the situation. What about if you don't do Jericho and Owens, but you do kind of like an NXT run back with Finn Balor winning? Another Irishman winning? Or Samoa Joe. I know he was cooking away in...
Joe would have been an amazing Royal Rumble winner anywhere. Finn Balor's a non-runner because he's so injured at this point. I think he's still out after he dropped the Universal title after its inception.
Is he still out at this point?
I think he's still out, yeah.
Okay.
Rollins fights Triple H. So leave them off because you don't want them touching the world title scene.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're looking at a Royal Rumble or a Royal Rumble moving into WrestleMania where the Royal Rumble winner isn't in the main event, and actually there's no title match main event. As you said, Goldberg and Lesnar, I thought that was a fantastic match. Didn't need a title. Owens Jericho would have been a really good main event.
Also didn't need the title, but it did.
Especially if you're going with Undertaker and Reigns as the main event.
But I also like. I mean, I'm still going to go with Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton, and I'm going to book that as the last match. Also, it's because Roman Reigns has so many WrestleMania main events. Undertaker so many WrestleMania.
AJ Styles is the world champion on SmackDown at this
No,
stage.
that's not till next year.
Is he not? Because does he not lose the Elimination Chamber?
Oh, maybe. Oh, sorry.
He
Yeah,
lost he was the champion
he's in the world
coming
title
in.
match the following year, but he's not. Yeah, is he the one who drops it?
Styles Cena this.
No, they never wrestled at WrestleMania.
No, at the Rumble. At Royal Rumble. That's the amazing Styles Cena
maybe
match.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so Styles loses the Elimination Chamber and Bray becomes the champion.
I'm going to go with Bray as the Royal Rumble winner for 2017. Simply, I think Jericho and Owens makes a lot of sense, but also like, and this is just for sentimental reasons. Jericho had a WrestleMania main event. Kevin Owens has 2 lined up in the future that he's going to have. Bray Wyatt never had a WrestleMania main event. I think that would have been his year.
Bray Wyatt wins it, and then what? Randy wins the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, I think I think you could do that. Yeah, and I think I could. Hey, fuck it! I would have had Luke Harper win the world title. I still would have liked the idea of a Wyatt family kind of triple threat kind of match, a la the Shield. There was a ton of interesting things that they could have done that wouldn't be nowhere near as bad as what they did do, which was fucking like bad animated graphics of worms in the ring and spooky bullshit.
Haunted house.
But they could have just that would have been in the main. Like if you had Vince in the booking seat, he would still put that in the main event. You'd have the spooky worm shit in the main event rather than in the semi-main event.
No, well, I think that
match was in the middle of the fucking card.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I'm going for Bray Wyatt. Do you have any alternate 2017 winners?
No, I forgot Balor was injured at this stage. I would have liked to see Balor do more on a world title front and winning the Money in the Bank or winning a fucking, like, he started off hot, came off that really good next run after coming off a really good Bullet Club run. And then just started faltering after the whole shoulder injury. But if he was free, I would have liked to see Owens and Balor kind of. It looks like a passing of the baton for NXT. Now I was an NXT mark, and I was pretty much a mark for anything that wasn't WWE. Growing up, I was WCW. In the mid 2000s, it was TNA, and in the mid 2010s, it was NXT because it just seemed like it was fucking the antithesis of some of the stuff that was happening in WWE. So I would have something like Kevin Owens.
But you couldn't take Kevin Owens out of the Festival of Friendship. That was one of the best angles they've done.
One of the best angles.
In like a decade.
That was US title in the end, wasn't it? Or
yeah, and as Jericho was constantly aggrieved, and he still talks about it at length about the idea that hey, if you're not in the last match, you want to be in the first match, and then they ended up in the second match,
yeah.
And then after the match, then Vince famously chewed them out. You can see that video online of
Kevin Owens. Are we good?
Are we good?
Yeah.
And Vince is giving them shit. Vince hated the match.
I hated the match.
So those guys, for those guys, they went from potentially being in the main event of WrestleMania in a world title match, and they were the hottest program in that company at the time. They went from that to the second match on the card that the old man doesn't fucking like.
Really, it's funny though.
I thought there was more mileage in that friendship. It didn't have to end. No, I think it was ending with the end sight of WrestleMania, but it could have carried on, I think, for a long time with an aggrieved Kevin Owens going up against a Finn Balor or a Samoa Joe and having more of a run with the world title than he did.
Despite how entertaining it was, I didn't actually think it was main event of WrestleMania entertaining.
It's MJF and Adam Cole dancing.
I don't know. I think Owens and Jericho, they had such a hot feud that you could have ran it.
But Jericho was politicking in the back, going, "Oh, this is main event material. Everyone's loving this stuff." But everyone loves a lot of comedy stuff that goes on.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean main event mania.
But also that being said,
you just made the list. You just made the list.
Owens got fucking squashed by Goldberg. Goldberg did not need the world title in that era. You could have just Goldberg and Lesnar, and they had a banger at WrestleMania,
and Survivor Series. When he squashed him,
that feud.
He squashed Lesnar at Survivor Series.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and then they had this 5-minute fucking just pulling out just spamming the fucking power move button match at WrestleMania. It was awesome, but it didn't need the world title. And again, as I said, for sentimental reasons, I'm still going with Bray Wyatt getting a Rumble win and finding a way into Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton.
Well, what happened with kind of passing the baton to someone for NXT happened the next year in two forms. You had Nakamura and Asuka.
Asuka was a great booking.
Honestly, no notes. I think that was a Rumble. I think Nakamura should have won it. I think it was a great Royal Rumble match. He did win it. He won it comprehensively. Asuka won the first Women's Royal Rumble. She was absolutely the person who should have won it. Unfortunately, both of them got fucking nuked at WrestleMania by AJ Styles and Charlotte, respectively. So yeah, the finish wasn't ideal. I still would have had Nakamura winning that, winning that match against even if he was turning heel, winning that match.
The visual of like was it Cena, Rey Mysterio, and maybe Orton, I think, with
Balor,
Nakamura, and there was someone else in there.
That was deadly, yeah.
But it was the 3v3, and I was like, this is maybe Styles, maybe, I don't know.
No,
but Nakamura, I think, fucked himself over when he did like a flip. His backwards kind of flip to Cena, and it looked like Cena landed on his head. And you can clearly hear Cena calling shit, going, Shinsuke now. Yeah. Like, you can clearly hear him directing it. So maybe
talk too much.
Maybe that would have.
You never should.
I don't know if that impacted, because I think that I feel like that might have happened the summer beforehand. I don't think that necessarily impacted. I don't think that impacted on Nakamura's push. I just look what the fuck do you expect? Like, it's Vince McMahon booking a Japanese dude,
two Japanese,
two Japanese wrestlers, two like fantastic fucking performers. He's just not going to let them excel to the degree that they're going to.
Well, you couldn't script that they're going to be like a ball sack punching contest for.
Yeah, Nakamura turning heel could. I mean, the heel version of Nakamura we have now, if they fucking pull the trigger on that, obviously, it's Vince McMahon in 2018. Vince McMahon, a man who has probably never read a subtitle in his life, wouldn't consider that you could probably just have Nakamura be subtitled. Like what they're doing with him now is fucking excellent. But like that heel version of Nakamura,
that's actually genius. That you'd actually have a Japanese wrestler with the subtitles come up for.
That's what they're doing now.
That's what he's doing now.
Is that what's happening now? Yeah.
You watching Raw? You watching Raw, buddy?
He's an AEW mark. That's what he is. Look at his little fucking AEW.
Pure diet of AEW.
Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's been here for months, and it's fantastic. And they're bringing it,
class.
and they're going to be fucking Kill Bill on him, and he's playing this kind of like psychotic fucking assassin character, and they've got all that manga animation coming in for his promos.
He loses everything, but it's still awesome because it's Nakamura.
I literally just watched the clips on YouTube and skip that stuff.
Anyway, 2018, the right people win it. I'm not rebooking anything there apart from what happens at WrestleMania.
2019? Or Dunphy, you agreeing?
2018, Nax.
Nak and Asuka.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, like this.
In terms of...
Especially Asuka.
Because this is the first year for the female Royal Rumble. I think they knocked it out of the park.
And the finish was cool as well. Like, it was real... Yeah. It was really well booked Rumble. I know. Sorry, they struggled to get enough women to put in to the Rumble. There was a lot of kind of dodgy enough calls for who should be.
The Asuka ass fucking thing where does she run and knock?
Did she beat the Bellas at the end?
She asked or Nikki Bella off or maybe she did. Or she just kind of kicked her. They were both on the fucking apron just kicking at each other.
That was it. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was a great finish, and yeah, I mean, I have no problems with that. 2019 also no notes, men's and women's. The right people won. 2019 Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch. Perfect, no notes.
Bex, love that one.
Is that the one where like she came out and bet someone up, and Finlay was like, just fucking get in there?
No, it was number 30 was Lana, who got fucking trucked by Nia Jax, I think. And then Becky came out and took her place.
Come on, please let me in.
Yeah,
let me in. It's class. That was
they're bartering away with Finlay for about fucking half an hour.
I didn't like Rollins back then.
No, he didn't have a good handle on his face character. But like Seth Rollins is absolutely a dude who should have a Royal Rumble win under his belt. Might as well have been that year.
Yeah, that's fair.
No notes. 2020, possibly it's in my top 3. Possibly, I think the best Royal Rumble. Might be a controversial stance. I don't think it's that controversial. I think anyone who watched the 2020 Royal Rumble went, that was a fucking masterpiece. I actually can't believe how good that was in terms of the book, and really unique format for the Royal Rumble. The idea of Lesnar being in there from the fucking jump and just
fucking everyone
having one-on-one interactions with so many people. Keith Lee, MVP, Ricochet, Drew absolutely should have won. Thought it was fucking great.
Yeah, that's class.
Too bad what happened at.
Unfortunately, the fucking plague landed and ruined everything. And we had Edges come back.
Can we rebook the plague?
I'd love to rebook COVID.
No, I think Lesnar is perfect. There's no question about it. It was the way, again, another trope. Big man in the Rumble. Can he dominate? Get it down to 1v1 all the time.
And
Don't let loads of lads.
And the way he got eliminated as well.
So good.
Yeah,
so good.
I was sitting there enjoying watching him just dominate. I was like, because that was what Lesnar does. That's fucking peak Lesnar. The Women's Royal Rumble then.
And because
the Women's Royal Rumble in 2020 was Charlotte. That was Charlotte Flair. That was the one where she ended up picking NXT.
Yeah.
Look, again, it's fucking Charlotte. She's gonna have to win it at some point. Might as well be that year. You know what I mean? Like,
I like fucking Charlotte Flair.
Like,
I think she's fucking awesome.
I think I'd much rather see her winning it when she's still pretty much in her prime, rather than like her winning it in fucking 3 years' time when it should be someone else. I think that was a good year for her to do it. It was just a bit weird. It didn't lay any prestige on the NXT Women's title, which is a prestigious title. It didn't lay any prestige on it that it should have. Again, pandemic probably didn't help when you're eventually having that match in front of like 5 fucking people wearing masks.
Yeah. That really kind of fucked it over, and I think that fucked.
That was even pre-Thunderdome. They didn't even have all the fucking, the video screens.
Yeah, it fucked it up. The Royal Rumble next year was fucked up because of the Thunderdome then as well. I thought there was no like I was actually disappointed when I seen Carlito. I was like, he should have come out to a fucking pop. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Same with Victoria in the women's. I was so gunning to see Victoria do a women's Royal Rumble, and then just to have no pop. I mean, it was genuinely a better Royal Rumble than like 2022, the first one back with fans. 2021, like the match in itself was good. There was good returns. You had the Hurricane, you have Carlito, you have Christian fucking Cage.
Further.
But I definitely would rebook that. Edge didn't need to win that. I would have booked Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley ended up in the world title match as is. He was in the opening match with Drew McIntyre, that WrestleMania. I'm booking Bobby Lashley to win the 2021 Royal Rumble. Also, just like, hey, just let a black dude win it. I mean, obviously, there's The Rock, but like, half black, half Samoan. I mean, I just think to have
blacker dude.
To have a blacker dude, to have like to have an African American actually fucking win the Royal Rumble comprehensively, it's about time. And like that was, I think that was Bobby Lashley's year. Also, Bobby's a fucking beast. Like, that's a man who should win a Royal Rumble.
And a man who's not aged in 20 years.
What Rumble? That's Rumble 36 then.
That's 2021. That's going into a.
That's COVID as well.
That's going into 37.
We're back. Yeah, it's coming out of COVID. We're also back to having like.
Oh, there's fans there. Yes.
Yeah, we still have split titles as well. So. The title matches that WrestleMania are triple threat: Daniel Bryan, Edge, Roman Reigns. Also, like Edge wins Royal Rumble and still ends up in a triple threat. Like that match could have happened anyway. And then the other world title match was Drew McIntyre against Bobby Lashley. So I would have picked Bobby Lashley. I would have retweaked that story.
Like both of those were in TNA like just a few years beforehand as well, which is kind of crazy to think about. The women's side of things then.
That's again no notes. That's Bianca Belair.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's sad when you think about Edge after his comeback year and he got injured again, and then Bianca Belair, the next star, not doing it in front of a crowd. I know they had to have someone to win.
Well, they had a crowd for this, didn't they?
Well, they had a crowd for Mania, not for the Rumble.
Not for the Rumble.
They were just fighting in front of a bunch of fucking TV screens.
When Edge came out.
No, but he made his Rumble. He made his return in 2020.
Yeah, and then he won 2021.
He won in 2021.
And he also did he like
Rumbles blend into each other.
Did he come in at number 1 in that year as well? He had this an hour-long fucking stint in that match.
I fucking just hated that.
I mean, it wasn't an enjoyable Royal Rumble to watch. Like it was really unfortunate because they stacked it with so many returns and cool moments. But there's no fans.
No,
there's no
nothing
atmosphere.
was enjoyable.
Now that you're talking about, like, say having a Black Royal Rumble winner, was Kofi ever in with a shot? I know he kind of capitalized on the fact that Mustafa Ali got injured and he ended up having that Kofi Mania run.
Yeah, a Royal Rumble win would have been.
Big E was probably better.
He's synonymous with the Royal Rumble.
I think the thing with Kofi as well is that he fell into that position, and obviously there was a groundswell of support from the fans, but because he's like his fucking running gag for like. The last 15 years has been, he's the guy who looks like he's eliminated from the Royal Rumble, and then he finds some ingenious way to, escape elimination. And I think if you keep running that story, it's kind of dead in the water now because he's fucked it so many times in recent years.
Yeah, but imagine 10
that would have been, him winning the Rumble would have been such a good payoff for this long running, not a story they've been telling, but this bit that they're doing every year.
So that was WrestleMania 34 when he wins.
30. It was 2019. It was he won the title in the WrestleMania that was main evented by Becky, Ronda, and Charlotte.
35.
Yeah, 2019.
Yeah. So who won it that year?
Who won the Rumble that year?
Yeah,
Seth Rollins.
Yeah. Got to go Kofi.
Yeah, it could have been Kofi. Yeah, because we want to give
to
to Rollins just because Rollins should win one at some point.
Exactly. Yeah. Actually, Kofi would have been a great show for that year.
But like Kofi, all that Kofi stuff happened organically after the fact, though. Like, because he had that gauntlet match.
Didn't really kick into gear until, So like
maybe
Mustafa Ali got injured.
But, like, could you imagine, say, if he did, throughout that Rumble, 5 Kofi spots and then won?
What a payoff.
Yeah. That's a payoff of fucking years of storytelling.
Yeah.
It's also a lot of creativity to come up with 5 Kofi spots in one Rumble.
You'd be grand.
Think you did?
You'd be grand.
Right. He's fucked it so many times now. I don't think it's going to be happening. But hey, look, he had a good run there.
So we come off the Edge and Bianca Belair one. We go to 2022, which leads into WrestleMania 38.
Yeah, men's wise, I'm gonna say possibly the worst Royal Rumble of all time. I think it was a horrible Rumble from start to finish. It's your first Royal Rumble back with crowds. Practically no surprise entrance for the most part.
Is it just because are you sick of Lesnar at this point?
So sick of Lesnar. Lesnar wins. He didn't need to win. We got a fucking Shane McMahon return that nobody asked for, nobody wanted. It's a fucking mess of a Rumble. Apparently, it was a clusterfuck backstage so much so that Vince ends up firing his own son permanently.
Women's Rumble was so much better.
Oh, but that's been the pattern for the last couple of years. The women's Royal Rumble this year as well. The women's Royal Rumble is head and shoulders above the men's one.
Yeah, we were saying just off mic that there's no point in talking about the women's as much.
The thing with the women's is that like we're talking about all these scenarios where we rebook certain men's Royal Rumble winners. I feel like every women's Royal Rumble winner from 2018, every winner has been exactly the person who should win it every year, up to Bayley this year.
Do you is there a case to be made to have the bigger person like Nia Jax kind of come
at some
through?
point? Maybe
because
no, you could be a good show for next year, but
we're all going like, oh, this person should have won it, but that's because we all either wanted that person to win it or we kind of knew that person was going to win.
But also I think but the pattern you see with the Women's Royal Rumble is that they actively capitalize on the legit hottest star maybe not Charlotte in her instance, but for the most part, the hottest star at that time or the person with the best inbuilt story. To Becky, Rhea Ripley in 2022. Rhea Ripley's 2023. 2022. Hold on, who's 2022?
Like I didn't mind the surprise of Ronda was kind of cool.
And again, while you've got Ronda Rousey under contract and you want to really legitimize the Women's Royal Rumble, Ronda should win it. I think I think the right people have won it. I think Ronda was the right person that year. It didn't end up in necessarily the best WrestleMania match, but fuck it, absolutely have Ronda Rousey win a Royal Rumble. So
women's booked okay.
Yeah, the men's that year was Lesnar didn't need it. It was a fucking mess. If I'm alternate booking it, I'm doing that story that we've kind of talked about in the various permutations of it that have kind of been suggested with Legacy in 2009, maybe with the Nexus in 2011. But I think to really consolidate the Bloodline storyline in 2020, and if you want to make a star and it's a bit of a fucking swerve, it's a bit of a thing people won't expect. 2022, instead of Brock Lesnar, I'd book Jey Uso to win it and do that to safeguard Roman Reigns' eventual world title match
against Jey Uso.
No, Jey's not going to. Jey is not.
He'll lose it somehow.
Jey is not. Jey is going to give up the thing. I think what you do.
So what? Reigns gets the night off.
That's the story you try and tell, where you eventually end up building to Reigns and Lesnar.
It builds up Jey eventually to when he gave it up, so he technically could beat Roman.
I think it works so well with the logic of the Bloodline storyline. It's such a big thing. It would add such an interesting shade to it. It was such a well developed storyline anyway. But the idea that a Bloodline member would win the Royal Rumble, also I do kind of feel like they probably should have done it with fucking Solo. They could have done it with Solo this year as well. But the idea that a Bloodline member would win the Royal Rumble and then go, I don't want to do what Cody eventually did. I don't want to take the shot. Yeah. I've absorbed the win. I've protected Roman. Boom, I'm out.
And then you still do Lesnar and Roman.
You still do Lesnar and Reigns anyway. But you're giving Jey a little bit more to do in the context of that. Jey can maybe put the shot up for stake. One of the managers can.
I kind of feel though it actually makes a lot of sense now.
But it devalues it.
But at the time, if that happened. It's kind of the equivalent of Roman winning it in some ways as well. If he was,
but I love the idea. We talked about with Vince McMahon in 1999 as well. Going the idea of maybe Paul White winning it, and then it's it's Vince winning by proxy.
Yeah.
The idea of Roman winning by proxy, Roman
entering to stop someone else from. So it's Roman
versus Roman.
Brand for Roman versus Roman WrestleMania.
It's so on brand for, and they're kind of doing that with Roman and The Rock now at the moment. The idea of Roman really trying to politically maneuver the WrestleMania main event, and for him to go, one of my underlings is going to win the Royal Rumble. He's not going to cash in on me.
And now we're going to have a finger poke of doom.
Yeah, well, call it that, yeah. But then somehow Jay loses. I like that. Yeah, I mean, it's not.
Yeah. So anyway,
it's as good, if not infinitely better than what actually happened.
Well, yeah, like Lesnar just.
But like what ended up stemming from that is like more like I wouldn't change anything about the Bloodline storyline.
I just think that
has emanated from it, like the whole Sammy stuff. Not trusting Sammy.
I don't think this is a year before Sammy, right?
It is a year before Sammy. Yeah. I don't think it's going to massively change the trajectory
it's the year
of what
him
happened.
And Sammy.
But I just, I just like it. Hey, look, we've been running the Royal Rumble since 1988. The idea that somebody wins a Rumble just
Johnny
to
Knoxville.
protect the champion.
Johnny Knoxville should have won that one.
Do you think so?
No. No.
Great spots. Great.
It was.
Yeah,
it was fun stuff, and I really enjoyed Johnny and Sammy.
I have no better winner than Jey Uso. I like it. Whatever.
Because Owens goes on to face Austin at that WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's not really much you can fucking change about.
Your main events are Owens, Austin, and
I enjoyed that.
Like this is just before WWE is about to get super hot, like super hot. But it's not there yet. It's not there yet.
I wonder why, because somebody debuts at WrestleMania 38
a year later.
He debuts at the WrestleMania against Seth.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, like it's about to get.
And then I wouldn't change anything about any of the others. That's been the wrestling.
It's about to get hot for the first time in 20 years, but I do feel like that Royal Rumble was a bit of an aberration in what ultimately ended up in a really good year, and like Vince's last year as well. I think we're getting it's such a Vince-brained booked Royal Rumble that 2022 one. Lesnar, like fucking yawn. You've had Edge win it the year before. You're still on this train of like these old part-time fucking dudes who've already won Royal Rumbles, winning Royal Rumbles they don't need to win. Pull a curveball, give it to fucking Jey. So that's what I do.
2023,
Cody.
We're still in the thick of this, lads, so let's just see what happens when they finish the story.
Well, no, 2023 is last year.
Yeah, but hold on. Yeah, but it's part of the story.
It's part of the story, yeah.
So you still go with Cody?
We're still in the story. Last year, yeah, I thought it was perfect. Like the Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, again, the right people won.
The only problem that I have with this year's is that remember what I was referring to about...
So 2023, full agreement, Cody.
Yeah. You?
No, full agreement between you two, Cody. Let's the 2024 then.
Yeah, we don't give us a suggestion.
Well, what's your fucking 2023 alternate?
I know you don't like Cody, but who is
it? What, like Ryback fucking coming in number 30?
What about Ryback in there?
No, okay, no, I'll go Cody. Yeah, Grant.
You're
Cody.
Just doing it
do you want to go with Cody, or are you just going with Cody to be belligerent now? And
no, I'm going Cody. That's what you want. That's what you
want. No, it's not what we want.
That's what you want.
No.
What do you want, Drew McIntyre?
I don't have a better alternative. I'm still glad Cody lost at that Mania.
What a fucking hater.
Yeah,
no, it makes sense in the storyline that Cody would lose forever.
Have an old Tommy Dreamer Raven situation.
The never-ending story. Did you ever hear that?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Don't know what you're talking
about. Final chapter still has to be written.
Remake.
We're in the final innings.
Well, this year's Royal Rumble, we're obviously on the road to WrestleMania now. Bayley absolutely should have won. It was so predictable that was, but like that storyline has been so compelling that they've been telling with Damage Control,
and also it's like you've seen with Rollins. Bayley needs to win.
It's one. Bayley, like every one of the horsewomen should win a Royal Rumble. Yeah. Sasha is a bit. She's far away from that, but unfortunately, but maybe someday.
She's big business.
Big business.
But remember what I was saying about Booker T? Imagine he won the Rumble and that the ripple effects that have on Sting. Like when you're looking at Jay Cargill's 2024 Royal Rumble, and then you look at the final two participants of the men's Royal Rumble are CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, former WWE guys, but also former AEW guys. If you're on AEW looking in, going and what they're doing with Lexus King, Brian Pillman Jr., you're going, the grass seems to be a fucking bit greener now over there, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean that was one of Vince's kind of golden bits of booking strategy in the late 90s and early 2000s, where he took those guys like the Jerichos and the Benoits, the Guerreros, Saturns and Malenkos to an extent, and booked them really strong and really prominently.
But he did that before they jumped, or before they were forced to jump.
But he did that. It's the opposite of the Sting situation. It was like, this is pre him having a monopoly, and he's booking these guys really well to show other people in the opposition company that hey, if you come here, we're not going to fucking bury you. Unfortunately, when it came to
Steve Austin, Triple H.
Unfortunately, when it came to Sting and Scott Steiner, but once
Once he had it, it was like, fuck you, this is what you get for...
He was like, no, you're going to get jobbed and we're going to make you look fucking dumb all the time.
But, so, do you think anybody at AEW with MJF... I know his contract is probably resolved, but anybody, FTR even, with Triple H back in there?
To come across. Sorry.
No, but would be looking across going, fuck, there's money to be made.
Malachi Black, Ricky Starks.
There's loads.
Probably maybe Buddy Murphy, Miro.
We've seen Andrade.
Andrade came back in. Andrade is...
Rusev. Miro, sorry.
Those are guys going to come back in, but I think AEW is actually starting to heat up again as well a bit. So
it's going to get too muddy soon, I think, with too many people in there.
Well, that's where WWE is heading as well, so it'll be interesting.
I don't think so.
WWE they have a very top-heavy main event scene.
Yeah, but they have a very, very distinctive split between Raw and SmackDown again. So you have 3 hours of Raw, you have 2 hours of SmackDown. You got NXT, which is pretty hot, but we're seeing guys that are on the main roster drop down to NXT. You look at fucking Baron Corbin dropping down there.
But it's not like main event.
Yeah, but also,
but like, you know,
that's a guy who was completely overpushed by Vince, and I think it's what Tony should be doing with Ring of Honor, and he's unfortunately not doing it.
Exactly.
It's like
it seems muddied.
It's the old territory system, way of working where, hey, a guy gets a bit overexposed, or the guy's had a run on top, and he either needs to kind of cool down, do something different, go away for a while. In Baron Corbin's case, get repackaged. And I think NXT is a really good place to do that. It worked a charm for Finn Balor. When he did it, it's worked well. Like Becky's had a great run in there as well. I think Corbin's had his best run in a long time.
Dolph had a bit of a run in there as well.
Yeah, but that was all. The problem with he's coming back around. The problem with Dolph,
only because his contract coming up.
Yeah.
The problem with Dolph in there is that Dolph was, he was in NXT. He wasn't being booked by fucking Triple H or Shawn Michaels. It was Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard booking. So he didn't get to actually, which is what Dolph needed more than anything, was to refresh that character and just to do something a bit different. He has the opportunity now, but unfortunately he got his fucking ass released before. He could have affected that in WWE in any way.
So, sorry, we're talking here about AEW, WWE, but are you dead set at 2024 Royal Rumble like Cody?
Yes,
should have won it.
Let's let the story finish.
I don't know. Look, I mean,
who else? The
fucking Rock, obviously, because like he's the one who came back and took the main event of WrestleMania.
No,
so
that's
like,
a Batista situation. Then.
It's a big Batista situation. I still, and this is great to their credit or not, I still can't tell.
Truth.
I can't tell what's a work. Truth would have been great
as well. Yeah, true for the women's.
I can't tell what's a work or what's not. But I mean, I think a lot. Like if it is course correction and it wasn't part of the plan. Great, they're doing a good job of the course correction so far. But like if the Rock was if the main event of WrestleMania was always going to be Roman Reigns and the Rock, let the Rock win the Royal Rumble. Come in 30, Dwayne, when there's like 2 people left. Work 2 minutes and tip them out with the ring. You don't have to do.
I was actually.
He'd probably still tear all the muscles off his fucking.
I was actually hoping for a Gunther win.
Gunther would have been a good one, yeah.
And
he's going to win it next year.
Gunther against Rollins.
My prediction.
Gunther against Rollins, and I would have thought that Cody would have been downtrodden, and then Rock could come in and go against fucking Reigns, and Cody has to find his way to finish the story. And that way, maybe he doesn't have to finish it at Mania. Maybe he falls again at Elimination Chamber because he was booked so hot. He fucking went and bet Lesnar 3 times, and like he was booked so fucking hot that he didn't necessarily have to then fight Reigns at WrestleMania.
Can I ask a question? Do you think the way the plan that's in place for Mania right now, do you think they've corrected a course? Do you think that they've listened to fans' negative reaction on The Rock and now they're moving back towards Cody? Or do you think it was always the plan that Cody Reigns was going to main event?
Well, I think, and this might seem like a cop-out,
because I think the reason I'm asking this is that kind of affects how I book the Rumble, depending on.
Like if their plan was always Rock and Reigns, I think Gunther should have won the fucking Rumble. But what I think is, whatever they've done, the fact that we're not allowed to be smart marks about it and go, oh no, they've done this behind the scenes. Oh well, no.
Yeah, but
the fact we're questioning it is a pretty fucking big testament.
What do you think?
In today's day and age, in today's day and age, when We have the answers to everything, it seems. The fact that the lines are blurred once again is perfect.
But what is your opinion on it, though? Do you think the course was corrected, or do you think this was always the course?
I don't know. That's the thing.
What if you were a betting man, where would you?
I think the course was corrected.
I don't. I think it's too obscene of Cody's going to win, and then the next week he's going to give off his title.
What I do think is happening is we're seeing the course been corrected. A lot of tumultuous things have happened in WWE in the last couple of weeks. I think the course is been corrected, but what we're seeing for the first time ever is the course being corrected by a bunch of very talented, creative minds for the first time ever. We got Triple H, The Rock, Brian Gewirtz, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, Cody Rhodes himself. These are the people who are making the changes on the fly. And I think there's a couple of things that have affected these changes. I think Seth Rollins' injury is a big part of it. CM Punk's injury is obviously the shit with Vince. Got the Netflix deal. Rock's on the board of TKO. But I think between them, you've got a situation where you've got a very creative bunch of fucking dudes who are using real life and real stuff that's happening to blend it into it, and it's done seamlessly, and it's done in the style of, you know, what the territories did back in the fucking 60s and 70s and the 80s to a degree. So I think it is a course correction, but I think we're seeing a very creative, well mapped out course correction.
So if it is a course correction, then I think Cody should have won it, because they now are creating the storyline around Cody winning it and not giving it up, but not really giving up. But if the original plan was Rock, Roman, main event, I have no logic whatsoever for why Cody wins the fucking Rumble.
I think Rock Roman, I absolutely agree with you. I feel like Rock Roman was only a done deal quite late, and then because of the reaction to The Rock taking the spot, they've actually sat down and they've gone, actually, if Rock is up for having a match later this year or early next year, we can just, like, Rock's probably got back to the ring and been like, fuck, I don't know if I'm going to be able for a main event or WrestleMania. And this is the compromise. Seth Rollins is probably going, he's injured. He's not able for a main event or WrestleMania. So they've come up with a sweet compromise where I think we're going to see a tag match on night one, and we're going to see Cody beat Roman on night two. And it's going to spin Roman into a storyline that we're probably going to see at SummerSlam, Saudi Arabia, maybe WrestleMania next year, payoff in terms of We're going to get to Roman and Rock, but we're not doing it right now.
And it won't be for the title. Because it
won't be for title.
Cody will have moved on to a Gunter match.
Cody's going to be off fighting Punk.
Basher Berlin, baby.
Yeah,
Gunter win the Rumble.
I do feel I'd make a loose prediction, but I think the main event for WrestleMania next year is going to be, one of the main events is going to be Cody against Gunter for that title. And Gunter's win the Rumble.
I think we're going to leave it there for now, because it's been a long ass talk, and it's been enjoyable talk, and I hope that the listeners or viewers enjoyed it as well. But I want to call you out next week. The next time we're going to talk about Cody Rhodes and his fucking story. All right? Because I want you, because I know you don't like Cody, but I want you to understand the crux of why he is the best babyface in the biz for the longest time, and what he has done for this industry.
But to tell that story, you also need to tell the story of Dusty Rhodes. And you also need to tell the story of Dustin Rhodes.
Ooh.
And if we're talking Dustin Rhodes, then I'm a huge Rhodes family mark.
Except when it comes to Cody, the most prominent member of the family right now.
And we'll find out why at the next podcast. That's been the Wrestling Fan Wrestling Show podcast. Like, subscribe. You're the fucking heel of the next show. Like and subscribe. Smash that, hit that notification ding-a-ling bell, and go check out the little bizarre documentary that we did on Dusty Rhodes, where Cody and on Dustin Rhodes. Go check it out on the Wrestling Fan Wrestling Show. That's been us. Say goodbye, lads. Or don't.